Hello, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Ashley Miller, and this is episode 4 of my brand new podcast, Bridging the Gap. Last time we discussed the topic of being our own worst enemy, dealing with self sabotage, how fears and limiting beliefs can really hold us back. And then we end up in the same toxic cycles over and over and over again. And today, this is now my third day in a row recording. I mentioned yesterday that it was out of my norm to be doing this consistently back to back because normally big procrastinator. I fall back into the old habits that don't do me well for stepping into this new identity. But, today I was going to come on and refilm that one. I got in my head and I thought, I could film this better. This could be cleaner, crisper, less messy. And then I sat down and started writing out ideas of what I could talk about. And I rewatched the footage back and I was like, get out of your head. This is great because this is real and raw and it's not meant to be perfect. That is what makes it authentic. And, today I was kind of connecting some dots. I have moments like that. It's like an epiphany or a download from God, just whatever it is. I start connecting things like, oh, this is maybe why this happened and whatnot. And, I think the other day I was thinking about how I'm injured. Obviously, I can't do much right now. I strained my groin muscle and today it hurt really bad. And I was getting a little scared. I'm like, God, I really, number one, I hope I don't need surgery. And thinking about how long I could be out for to prevent myself from recording other content. But yesterday, after I got off the podcast, I filmed some other things for TikTok that, just flowed through me. When I'm in my motivational mode, when I just have thoughts and things that come to my mind, I have really noticed recently those videos have done so much better on TikTok than what I normally do. And it just like kind of dawned on me. I'm like, I need to embrace this. Like I'm clearly meant to talk about these things that, matter to me, that I'm passionate about, and get out of my head that that's not what's going to bring me clients or whatever the case may be. All those fears I've talked about, I'm clearly meant to do this. I have so many people commenting like, thank you, I really needed this. And I just need to embrace it. I need to embrace the surrender. And clearly, I don't believe anything is a coincidence. Sorry, everything is a sign. Everything. When God is in your life, or if you believe universe, whatever you believe in, nothing is a coincidence. Sorry. No, not if you have a bigger purpose in life. Everything is a sign. And the reason why I say that is last winter, I was also injured, but I was out for a really long period of time. I couldn't work out normally my legs from January till about May. It was a long time, but that was because of my own doing. I couldn't sit still long enough for my body to heal properly. I made everything worse. And so, when I got injured again recently, I'm like, how is this even possible? How do I get injured 2 years in a row, both dealing with the lower body to where I can't move? What are the odds of that? And as these days have gone on, more things start to click for me, like I mentioned, connecting the dots. And, my first thought was, okay, well, it's slowing me down so that way I can focus on doing this, because normally I would put it off. If I could move, I would just go be doing the regular content I'd be doing out of fear that if I don't keep posting the same way I've been posting, I won't get clients. BS, that's where the fear comes in, the self-sabotage. But then today, it also clicked to me. I mentioned, I think on the second podcast, about how, things happen for a reason. I believe that's what I said. I don't remember. Don't quote me. But, things happen in your life for a reason, for you to learn and grow. And hopefully, you pay attention to the lessons and you learn from it. I thought about the fact how I know that I messed up last winter. And I know that if I make the same choices I did last winter and not sit my booty down for a long period of time, no matter how uncomfortable it is, and even when I feel better, to still sit down and not push it, I could end up in the same position as last year. And, it really dawned on me like, okay, maybe I also went through that so that way I don't make those same mistakes and I can do better this time. Truly, a lot of things do happen in our lives for us to make different choices later on when we are presented with a similar situation, which is what I said in the last podcast. We have to be aware of when the same things come up and we have to choose different, or else I'm screwing myself again. And I don't want to do that. And so this month, actually, something I did on my whiteboard when I was acknowledging the toxic habits that keep me in the same place. I keep repeating those same things that keep me in my old identity. I decided to do Surrender December. I don't know if someone's already come up with that, okay, but it came to my head and I had never seen it before. So I'm just saying. And basically, where I wrote the things out that for at least 30 days, and even though yesterday was the second when I did it, or the third, I am going to fully surrender to God, almost like how, like, when you do fasting, when you give up something, it helps bring you closer to God, something you kind of rely on. And that's how I was looking at it. I wrote out the things that I know I keep repeating, like my spending habits, how often I was eating out a week. If I want to not be in credit card debt, if I want to save money, if I want to have a lot of money and handle money better when this pops off, I can't have that same habit. So that was one of the things I wrote down with a couple other ones. And so I fully am like, okay, mentally, I'm committing to this because I'm going to show myself a different outcome. I am surrender December. Like I said, I'm surrendering and I'm embracing, this time of uncomfortability, showing myself a different outcome and trusting and embracing all these other things I'm meant to be doing because it's what's going to bring me closer. And I want it to happen in a timely manner. I don't want to enter 2026 doing the same thing over and over that keeps me stuck. I will be pissed off. I know that I want to launch this podcast in, it's December 4th. I want to launch this in at least, I want to say 2 weeks. By mid-December is when I want to launch this by. And I'm thankful that I'm being slowed down because this is now my 4th episode I'm recording. I am racking this up so that I don't have to worry about, I don't have to worry that after I launch it, like, oh, I have to get this done by, how a lot of people just film a podcast each week. I don't want to do that. I know that I don't work well under pressure like that when it comes to something creative like this, where I need the answers to flow to me and naturally to figure out what I'm supposed to talk about. Otherwise, when I have this pressure to do it each week by this certain time, I know that this won't be as organic the way that I want it to be. So I'm thankful that I have this time of slowing down to do all of this. And it's kind of almost like each day that I'm sitting down and I'm embracing the surrender, I'm just letting things work the way that they need to, I'm growing quicker. Because also when you're moving out of adrenaline, you're avoiding the things that you need to work on. You're just kind of like escaping, which is something I've dealt with a lot in my life. Like before I ever went on my healing journey before 2020, escapism was my best friend. I would go on trips constantly. I was constantly going out, avoiding everything altogether because I didn't want to face the things that I had going on up until I was forced to sit down in 2020. Perfect example, was forced to slow down and recognize the things I needed to work on. Because if I wasn't forced to slow down in 2020, I probably wouldn't have done it, honestly. So that's why looking for the good in the bad is so important, because you can take advantage of any situation you are dealt with. You can look at it as a time of growth, because you can ask yourself, how can I take advantage of this time that is probably really frustrating, but there's something in this that I can utilize for myself. And normally you'll be able to find it if you're willing to pay attention to it, if you're willing to switch your perspective. Like I said in the first episode, flip it. There's always an opportunity with everything that you're faced with. And while I might be injured and it sucks, this this is a whole lot better because this is going to get me to where I want to be. And I'm thankful for it. Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I think I got a little bit of an idea at the end of what I was just saying for next podcast. Yes, I did. I actually did. So catch me recording tomorrow for the fourth day in a row. That's crazy. That's on growth. Well, if any of this, like I've said before, is helping you, if you want to share parts of what you're going through, and maybe if you've tried anything from these past podcasts and you want to tell me about it, I would love to hear the feedback. And yeah, just thank you guys again for trusting me on your journey and for allowing me to share my stuff and hopefully help guide the way. And just know that you're not alone. We all have our own things going on in our life, and you are not as alone as you might think you are. So join me next time, guys. Bye.